Well, hey, I'm Jim Collier. I'm the host today for From the Hip, a ministry of First Baptist Church Concord. And this is a discussion about faith and practice and ooh, shiny. And I have with me today my children's director and the children's director for First Baptist, Korighan Gabriel. Korighan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're welcome. I know this isn't your favorite thing to do. I know that you like to be behind the scenes orchestrating things, but I'm going to tell some folks, since children's ministry is all about trust, I want people to know you so that you can build some of that kind of trust. So I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, good. So here they are. First, just tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What are your fun things? What makes you you?
All right. So in my free time, I love to go to the pool during the summer. I could stay out there all day. I love it when there's friends with me or friends that have kids because I can't be very still. So I love to play with them. I also love to scrapbook. That's something that my mom did all when I was little growing up, and I love to look back on those, and I love to continue that either for kids that I babysit or just do crafting in general. I also love to be around kids, so babysit in my free time, not so much as I did in high school, but all of those things, anything really that involves kids, I like to be around.
Well, that's good. That's good. You have a real love for kids. Let me ask you this. What school, you said high school, what school did you graduate from?
I graduated from Hickory Grove Christian out of Charlotte.
Oh, wow. Neat. Did you go there your all growing up? Or?
So elementary and middle school, I went to a small Christian school called Back Creek Christian Academy, and they did not have high school when I was growing up. They do now. So for my high school, I went to Hickory Grove.
Cool. What did you do? Did you do anything recreational or sports related or anything?
Yes. So when I was younger, all through elementary school, I actually played baseball. And then through 8th grade, I played soccer, which I loved playing a forward, never in the goalie or defense, but I loved running the ball down the field. And then in high school, I mainly focused on dance.
Oh, that's cool. So baseball, what position you play in baseball?
Honestly, I don't even remember. And I don't really remember a whole lot about baseball. I see pictures of it again in the scrapbooks, but I do remember a lot more about soccer than I do baseball.
Right. That's good. And so you danced.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been dancing?
So I started at Peggy Lee, which has been in Concord. I think we just had about maybe our 76th or 77th recital. It used to be up here on Church Street in Peggy Lee's basement. In 2007, we grew out of that and we started at a new studio. So I started dancing when I was 5, so in the year 2000, and then danced all through high school. Then I interned there for a year, and then I began as a teacher. Right.
So tell me about the styles of dance that you took.
So I took a little bit of everything. Lyrical, which is more of like a worship form, which is one of my favorites. I also did ballet, point, tap, and jazz. Tap is probably my most favorite. I like to make different rhythms and hear the different sounds. And that's probably one of my favorite ones to teach too.
Oh, wow. Cool. So, you said two favorites. You said tap and you said lyrical.
Mm-hmm.
And, are there, when people go, like if a kid goes into your class and they are excited about a certain style, what's the certain style that every teacher says you need to go talk to Korighan about it? Is there one of those?
Well, I don't know if there's a certain style, but mostly they would probably say if they're a little kid, come see me.
Oh, a little kid, yeah. You are the Pied Piper.
So I do teach mostly younger elementary. So like the kindergarten age is probably my favorite. We have a class called Combo, and that's where they take 30 minutes of ballet and 30 minutes of tap, and I think that is just a fun age. I always said growing up if I ever were to go into education, I would teach kindergarten. I do teach a couple of older elementary classes, but like I said, I think that kindergarten is probably my favorite.
Right. Well, and it's obvious here at church just to watch. The kids just flock to you. they know you. And when we're out as a staff and somebody sees you, it's like, oh, Miss Korighan, Miss Korighan. So, I know that that the kids just kind of flock to you. Tell me about when you trusted Christ. Like, was there do you remember when you first realized that you needed a Savior and you asked Jesus to save you?
So it was at a Bible school that I asked Jesus to come into my heart. And then that following April, so VBS would have been the summer, and then the following April of the next year is when I got baptized and professed in front of this church, actually.
Right.
That Jesus was my Lord.
Right. Well, that's something that that we might need to say, and you just said it, but I want to bring it out. Let me ask you this. How many churches have you been a member of?
Only this one.
Only this one.
Yes.
That's right. So you have been here your whole life.
Yes. So going back to the scrapbooks, my baby dedication pictures, all of that is here. My baptism bulletins and everything. So it's great to look back on and see how things have changed and how some have stayed the same. Yeah,
that's so cool. The biggest heartbreak change that has happened to you is what?
Is that the carpet is no longer burgundy. Yep.
I knew that. I knew. In fact, I was going to tease you about it, but I didn't know if it ever come up. So since it did, I figured I'd ask you that. I knew I played a significant role in that, and so forgive me for that, please. But that is funny. So only one church. Why don't you tell people how you and I first met?
All right. So back, I guess, 7 years ago, I was asked to be on the search committee, which I thought was a big undertaking. I thought.
How old were you?
I was 21.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's cool.
So they wanted somebody from each age category, and so I said I agreed to it, and we interviewed several people and brought you in. And
yeah. I wanted her to say it, but it was so cool. One of the things that stuck out in my mind, really, as the Lord began to bring my family and me together with this church, was the fact that they did have different age groups. And so I guess Brother Phil was probably the oldest, or maybe Dr. John, but I think Brother Phil's got him. And so Brother Phil, and then you being the youngest. And I just thought that was so cool. There was 30-something, 40-something, 20-something, all the way up. And so that really stuck out. Even the very first time that I met y'all, I could tell that was something. So.
Right, and I wasn't even on staff at that point.
Right, that's right. But I want to say this to the group, and I don't mean to embarrass you, but I knew almost from the first time that I met you that the Lord was going to use you in ministry. Like I knew that you were a minister, even though you weren't in ministry at the time. So I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm just telling you, I could tell by your passion and the things that you cared about and the things that you asked questions about. So.
Well, this will actually, I realized the other day, September will be my 5th year here.
I know, that's incredible.
Which is crazy. It's gone by
you
fast.
Started right before COVID.
Right before COVID, yep.
Right, that's right. And what was the greatest gift you gave me at COVID? Do you remember?
I'm not sure.
It was I walked into the very first broadcast of COVID, and you had done what for me?
Oh, that's right. I do remember. I remember that you had not been complaining, but it changed how you preached when you said that you didn't like preaching to nobody. And so, we're Baptists, and so we always sit in the same seats. And so I printed off all the pictures from the church directory and taped them to paint sticks, and everybody was sitting right in their seat where they should be. That's right. And it was such a cool gift. I had never thought of that. And when I walked in, it was just I don't know. It was almost like they were right there, even though they weren't. And so that was a great gift. Thanks for that. But that's some of your craftiness coming out and your care for other people. So I've heard stories about you being competitive. Is that true? No way. Yeah, of course. Why don't you tell me a story about you playing? What's your favorite game to play on game night or whatever? Okay, so I do love to play games, and actually I love to play any kind of game. So you probably remember me playing kickball and going hard with it at the park. That's right. So almost passing out. Yeah, it was so hot. Kickball, dodgeball, any of those like games that you play in PE, I love those, and I also love board games and card games. So anytime that anybody asks me about being competitive, I go back to the story of the Brantleys, and they were new members here, and they had just gone on the Alaska trip, and I was helping out a family, and I dropped their kid off at the end of the week get-together, and we were playing a game of Kemps. Kemps is a card game. You have a partner, and you and your partner basically have a secret signal, and when you get 4 of a kind, you've got to get your partner to realize it without anybody else. Well, I could not get my cards. We were playing at Dr. Guerrero's house, and he's got a pretty long table in there, and me and my partner, we're on the far sides, and so I was having a hard time getting to the cards, and I jumped across the table, and the Brantleys were like, man, this is the little quiet girl that sits in the front row. And I got my cards, and we got Kemp's. And so I went a little bit crazy. They still like to remind me of the video, but I do love to win.
That's good. Well, you got to do something, right? Even if you're quiet, you got to win, right?
Yep.
That's good. I love hearing those stories because we often have we often put on a public persona, and then there's that little thing that's so different than the public persona, and I like that about you. That's pretty good. So I know you're worried about me maybe surprising you with a question, so I'm going to surprise you right now,
Okay,
and ask you a question that you didn't know about. Here's the first surprise. I want our folks to know how much you love Vacation Bible School. All right, so that's the setup. Now, I just heard that you trusted Christ in Vacation Bible School. I guess I didn't know that. That and a great number of at least Baptists, that's where they were when they trusted Christ. So, is it true that you can remember the themes and the songs of all the Vacation Bible Schools for however long this has been?
Yes, I could probably list them all going now backwards.
Well, tell me your favorite. Let me ask you that. What's your favorite theme that you can remember?
Well, funny that you say that. So I'm in a Bible school group on Facebook, and they do like these little like giveaways. And one of the questions a couple weeks ago was to be entered into the contest, you have to put in your favorite VBS theme. And so I actually did that, and I actually won a little devotional. I really enjoyed Arctic Edge, which was 2006, and that's one of my favorite songs that I sing about with the caribou and the canoe and all of that. I just remember having like ice blocks, and I don't know, it was great. And then the other one of my favorite ones was after I was out of school, so I was actually teaching by that time, was Big Apple Adventure, and we had 8-foot tall boards in the sanctuary, and they were going back, and so it looked like you were on a street of New York. And
that's cool.
That's where the I Love VBS or Yes to VBS song came in.
Right. Oh, that's so cool. I was thinking about I was reminiscing with you about those. I remember Rickshaw Rally, Racing to the Sun. Yeah, that's right. Yep. I remember Arctic Edge. And then, but I was a pastor in all those ones with the kids, and some of those you were a kid, and now you're an adult. Those are neat. What's your favorite one that you've done since we've been together here at First Baptist that you've actually hosted? I mean, that you were the director.
Wow, that's hard. Well, the year of COVID was supposed to be Concrete and Cranes, and then we moved that one. I was a little bit nervous about that one because I didn't really think that girls would enjoy Concrete and Cranes, but it was great. It was fun to decorate for. But also the art theme, the Spark Studios, I think that one was fun. It was colorful. It was easy in the sense of, to decorate and,
right.
plan
Now,
for
was that one the one that for We Are His Workmanship created? That was. I enjoyed that because I actually was able to teach with a whiteboard, and I was drawing pictures, and I have terrible. I mean, I'm not an artist at all, but I was playing with the kids about my masterpiece because we were talking about being a masterpiece. That. Yeah, and so man, that's so good. So, are you excited for this year's Vacation Bible School?
I'm very excited for this year's. We are going to have a great time. It's a little bit like a harder theme, kind of like I said, the Spark Studios was easier. This one, is a beach, but it's more of like a Seattle beach. And so it's not like a beach like I think of, with the normal things.
Right.
So it's rocks and campfires and stuff like that. So a little bit harder, but we're going to make kites, and it's going to be great.
Right. Cool. I'm so excited. So every kid's going to take home a kite, and
Yes.
That sounds like fun. How many you got signed up already?
136.
Wow. Oh my gracious. That is nuts. And so I'm really excited for that. And I like being a part. I'm glad you let me teach and be a part with those kids. Let me shift our focus. You love Vacation Bible School. You love kids. Tell me about your relationship with Debbie, who was the children's director when you were growing up, and how she influenced you to not just love kids, but love kids ministry, and maybe how she impacts your ministry now.
All right. So when I was a kid, like even toddler age, I was always, the one playing dolls or playing teacher. And so I've always had that kind of heart for kids. And I'm trying to remember. I think Debbie came when I was almost out of children's ministry. But again, I had that heart to serve. And so she took me under her wing, and we I went through training, learning motions to different songs. And for children's church, we were on rotations. And so, every couple of months I got to serve with her and lead the kids, do crafts, do all of those things, plan for Bible school, decorate. We had some late nights decorating, some fun times with the overhead projector, making backgrounds and all of that. And then when her husband passed away, that was able for me to step in, and we really worked even closer. And she taught me a lot about the Lord and a lot about how to do ministry, and that this is really the most important thing in a child's life.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. It's a parent's responsibility to train their children and even to disciple them. But the church is such a come alongside kind of ministry and provides things that maybe parents don't know or can't do. And yeah, absolutely. What a great, and I knew she was a mentor of yours. I'm so glad that you're able to continue along. If you could wiggle your nose, all right, that's an old bewitched thought, but if you could wiggle your nose and make our children's ministry exactly like you'd like it, what would it look like?
I think that I would love to have more kids. I would love for them to come to know the Lord, just like you pray for when we do a baby dedication. I think that I would love to have volunteers, instead of having to just go out, and sometimes I feel like having to beg for them. I would love to just have them at my feet. What can I do? How can, what can I do? I think a lot of our older ladies here, they have been a great help in, ready to do whatever, stuff bags, cut out this, cut out that. And I'm really appreciative of that. Right.
So that can be a challenge, can't it, for children's ministry? With adult ministry like I do, I can handle 20 adults or 40 adults all by myself. I just say, y'all sit down there and listen. Can you do that with kids?
Nope, I cannot.
What's the ratio that you try to get, or what's a good, what would make you feel super comfortable if you had 50 kids? How many adults would you want?
Well, that's a loaded question because it depends on the age. So technically, if they're one, it should be 1 to 6.
Right.
If I had 50 kids, I don't know, I'd probably want at least 4 volunteers, so it would be almost 10 to a person. Right.
Well, that's good.
To put it into perspective, for VBS, we're at 136 kids right now, and I'm at 84 volunteers.
Wow, that's awesome. Praise the Lord for that. I don't know how it is in kids ministry, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things I see in adult ministry is that you can get people for a season, for a short time. Hey, let's all ramp up for this. and yet the long-term stuff, it's more difficult. Is that true in kids ministry?
I do think so, more now than it has been in the past. Y'all, well, you know that Miss Peggy and Miss Sarah, they've been teaching Sunday school since I was in Sunday school, and they have just recently, said that they're ready to move on from that. And so I think that sometimes you get those people, those special people like that are all in and teaching with the same little lamb puppet and the same little donkey puppet.
Flannel board.
Yeah. But now it is getting a little bit harder because people are busy.
Yeah, that's right. If I understand correctly, Miss Sarah and Miss Peggy have been doing 60 to 65 years in our youngest kids' Sunday school class. That's just amazing. We really do have a good legacy here of workers. If somebody wanted to work for you, let's say in Sunday school, or they wanted to help you with GAs, or if they wanted to help you with Kingdom Kids, let's say, what are some things that we would require them to do in order to help?
So how I've done it in the past is have them come alongside me for 1 or 2 weeks. So I actually just had Miss Bethany that has requested to help with Kingdom Kids, and so she came with me to a couple Kingdom Kids before she did one by herself, just to see how we do it, learn different things. And sometimes I plan the lesson for them and, plan the craft. And sometimes if they have ideas, then, they do it, or, some of them don't feel comfortable doing that. And so I do it for them. And we just kind of work together like that.
That's good. Do they need to have background checks when they work with kids?
We have started a process of doing background checks, yes.
Very good. That's what I wanted to hear, because I know that there are people that are going to be listening to this that are thinking, not only do I need to trust the children's minister, but I need to trust the process as well. So we have, tell us some things like that, security things that we've got in place.
So, for instance, for Bible school, Miss Angela is working on the background checks by last name. And so if you are working Bible school and you haven't got one yet, that's coming. We have gotten a name tag system, which prints off a different code for each child that is specific to the parent. And so it prints off, you enter your child's name and it prints off a code for the child and the parent that matches, and at pickup, the person who has the tag goes with that person. For Bible school, it's a little bit different, just because it is so many kids. And we have an authorized pickup sheet, and so only the people that are on the authorized pickup are allowed to pick up those children, and they need to show an ID. Right.
Good. That's so good. I know in our world today we have to have those kinds of things. So I really appreciate the time that you've spent here with us. It's been a great conversation. Is there anything maybe that I didn't ask, or something that you want to say, something to our families, or maybe for prospective families, anything that would just, there's going on our website, they're going to be looking at this to see about children's ministry and to meet our children's minister. What one thing would you, or maybe 6 things, whatever, what would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that we love Jesus, first and foremost, and that we seek to honor him. One of the things that I teach the kids in Kingdom Kids that most of them would probably know if you asked is the 3 R's, and that is respect others, respect property, and respect yourself. And so we talk about how we can do those things, and, respecting others would be keeping your hands to yourself or keeping your mouth quiet so that the friends that you're with are able to listen to the lesson and to learn what's important and what we're here for. Right. I love seeing the kids respond to you in our children's sermon that you do most times when the kids are in there. And I just love the way that you've been able to draw on the things that you've already taught, and many of them know them. I mean, I love the fact that Kate called her daddy a sinner on Sunday morning. I meant to harass him about that a little bit, but I didn't. But just the fact that you teach so readily, even to those youngest of kids, that we're all sinners in need of a Savior, that Jesus is that perfect Savior for us, and that if we put our trust in him, we'll be made complete in him. So I really, really am grateful for your ministry, and I do pray for your ministry, and I pray that
the Lord would continue to add the volunteers that you need to grow. And I think we are growing. Not that numbers are the most important. Obviously, Jesus is the most important, that we grow in Him. But it's good if you have more people that want to grow in Him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. So thank you so much, Korighan. I appreciate you. This wasn't too bad, was it?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Okay, good. You did great. I want you to know that you did great. And we will see you next time. This is Jim Collier from the Hip, and we talk about faith and practice. A lot of practice today, and a little bit of ooh shiny. But I tried not to do that too much for Korighan because while she likes shiny, she doesn't like to follow my shiny followings sometimes. So anyway, God bless you. Y'all have a great day.